Now, the Dow Jones, is it heading towards 39,900 or to fall back to 37,700? Now, this is a debate that's ongoing right now. And of course, many people are still calling for the Dow to hit 40, 41, and 42,000. Now, to me itself, right, for the upside, it seems inevitable because there's so many bull in the market right now. And there are many short sellers have already left the field. But the economic data are having a big discrepancy. And I think that is something you should take note. And again, I repeat myself, if the market decide to go with the current flow, then this data will only make sense later when the market does a U-turn. All right, so disclaimer apply as usual. Let's go into the details. Now, first of all, right, Bitcoin really came down to 61,500. Now, it was trading somewhere about 65,000 around this area. And a lot of people have been asking us, where do we think that Bitcoin will go? Now, at that point itself, right, it looked pretty supported. But I kind of feel that there's something wrong with this equation because it stays below the moving average. So I believe that he might be heading towards 61,500. And that was something we posted about 6 to 7 days ago. And truth be told, the market really came down and we have just covered. I repeat, we have just covered, okay? We have covered our short position. So guys, please take some profit if you're shorting with us, all right, in the market. Now, because the Bitcoin has came down, right, the next thing to watch out will be the NASDAQ. And that's why we also mentioned to you that if the Bitcoin do come down, all right, the NASDAQ will also be coming down because we have been seeing the same thing, right? Every time when the NASDAQ is, when the Bitcoin is going upwards itself, you can see the NASDAQ also follow through. So that was the reason why when we saw the Bitcoin coming down from the 65,000 level, we shorted the NASDAQ and we're up probably about 100 to 200 points in profit. So of course, with the Bitcoin now at the lower end, maybe NASDAQ may see a rebound in the near term. All right, now let's go into the discrepancy. Now, first thing first, we see that the bank deposit rose a tiny $2.1 billion last week as money market funds saw a 22.3 billion outflow. Okay, this is no joking matter. This doesn't make sense. So things has already got out of hand. In fact, since 2023 June last year, it seems that somehow money market itself ain't following through, while the money market fund total asset itself, right? The total movement is only has up a little bit, and we can feel that the commercial bank liability is definitely showing some signs of weakness at the moment. Now, if you look at the Federal Reserve balance with the Federal Reserve reserve balance, you can see that, okay, it is basically now far away from the Bloomberg United States exchange market capitalization. So in short, it's not the stock market. So with the money market fund and the bank deposit outflow, it's not hard to see where the money is flowing. The decoupling between the US equity market cap and the bank reserve at the Federal is now way beyond record high. So you can see that there's a very big gap at the moment right now. And when this actually happens, right, I believe that traders should be very careful for the long term. So the upside for the US market, there is still about 1 to 2% upside, but the downside itself, right, actually is much higher. So that's the reason why last few days we know that the Dow has been strengthening because we can see the big boys has been buying into it. The momentum is there, so you can see the market has went up. But the thing is this, I kind of suspect that there will be some resistance at about 39,700 series. But of course, again, the ultimate target for Dow Jones now is at 39,900, where a lot of people are actually calling for it. For us itself, right, upside should be around 39,700. Which we think that will likely be happening. Then the downside, if we believe that will happen, it has to break below the MA30 first, which at 38,977 before any form of selling. So until we see all this, if not, right, the upside is still inevitable, yeah? Now we know that the main reason previously was NVIDIA was the one basically holding the entire S&P 500. So you can see that S&P 500 actually did not go up much this year. In fact, itself is Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon, Google, Meta. These are the counters that's pushing the S&P, right, for the entire 2024. And of course, we all know that recently NVIDIA has came down a little bit. But the thing is that if you compare NVIDIA versus Berkshire Hathaway, you can see that it just took 30 days for NVIDIA to go from 2 trillion market cap to 3 trillion market cap. Now, Berkshire Hathaway, it took them a century, all right, to do that itself. All right, to go from 0 to 1 trillion. And that journey from about 60 years ago. So you can see that that's where the funds prefer to go at the moment. But if you look at the US unemployment rate, that's something that we need to be very concerned for. Let's take a look. The recent upside of the unemployment data shows that something is not right. And every time when we see an uptick in such a fashion itself, we can see it's inevitable to see a recession. Now, of course, many of us don't think that this will happen because now everything is good, stock market is high, everybody's still prospering, still going for holidays, there's no much concern. But do note, guys, the 3-month average unemployment rate now is now very near to the average level. And every time when this number breaks, we have a recession. So guys, maybe you don't feel it in Singapore, but probably around the world as well, or US especially, is starting. So that's the reason why I believe that by 2025, we could see that recession because this is the election year. They might not want it to happen right now. And of course, there's another ugly week for the US macro data overall. The Bloomberg Economic Surprise Index tumbling to this weakest level since February 2019. And that was basically the level back in the COVID period. So now when these things are all coming down as well, it's kind of concerning right now. Why is the stock market going up? Well, the only big reason is because of the gap. The gap is the one that is basically pushing, because everybody just keep on pushing their money into the stock market. And when this keep on happening, then the gap get too big. Usually we have seen before, the market eventually will decide, okay, it's time to take some profit. And when that actually happen, we will see some serious selling. Because the last time when this happened as well, the stock market actually was pre about 4,800 and it dropped all the way to 3,800. So it is possible for the market to pull back. Yeah. So traders, you need to watch out for this. This is kind of interesting. Yeah. Okay. So with that, we can also look at this one here. The main second reason why the market is not able to go down is because the short sellers' interest has really down to very, very low level. That means that people have decided that it's pointless to short and I think it's time to get up. So the short interest on the Magnificent 7 is now very low. It's only 1%. Now at the peak, right, it was as much as 6%. Now we are actually a very, very low level. In fact, itself, right, the short interest of the market is very low at the moment right now. And all this tells you that we've got the short sellers. It's not difficult to know that why the market is going up. And we have the conventional and the what do you call this is the seasonal pattern. Now we know that we're supposed to get a bit of downdraft in June period, which we had a little bit, but then the market has recovered. And by July the 1st, okay, by right, we should see a very strong bull market. But the thing at the same time itself with the economic data at the low end itself, somehow this and this doesn't make sense, right? But again, if the market want to push it up, who knows? We may see the S&P trading now is at 5,600. Who knows? We may see even going at 5,800. So all is possible, but I just want you to be careful because the data here are showing that the US economy is not doing well. And also to wrap it up in a way, you can see the Dow Jones right now yesterday has broke a very important number at 39,350. This is a very important level. This is where the market propel went up and also the level that caused the market to sell, right? So the thing is this now, if it stays above 39,350, there should be a reason for you to go short. But of course, if the market do come down and break below, then the selling may come in. So guys, upside itself is 39,900. The downside itself is 37,700. So for you, make the decision and let me know in the comment box. All right, with that itself, that'll be the end of my video. Hopefully, I enjoyed this. Kel signing off. Comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Bye-bye.